Hey guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali, and today I'd like to talk about the human desire as a social species to fit in, to belong into a certain group, into a certain tribe, into a certain community, and then yet having the need to stand out, to be outstanding. And I call this as the paradoxical coexistence of the cat and the mouse chase in almost all of us. And as an individual, being a part of the social network, we almost all have this desire to belong into a certain group, into a certain community, into a certain tribe. And that is where probably Brené Brown aptly puts it, that there's a difference between fitting in and belonging. Belonging essentially means that we are accepted for exactly who we are at that point in our lives. That we do not have to compromise our essence in order to fit into a certain ideal mold type, into a certain idea of that particular group, of that particular community. And that's where also we constantly seek validation for how we are and what we do is good enough or not. And many a times, almost all of us would like to be accepted, to be liked by everybody almost all the time. And essentially, there's nothing wrong with that. It's also a very childlike, it's also a very human desire. And yet, on the other hand, we have this paradoxical desire to be outstanding, to stand out from the crowd, to be recognized as something different from the crowd, essentially from the herd that we want to belong into. And that is why we also have these notions of think outside of the box. The box is essentially all of the containment of ideas and ideologies and people who have essentially been having the same thought processes, who have essentially been having the same belief systems. And which is not to say that when we start to become outstanding or when we start to stand away or out from that group or out from that herd or out from that tribe, we are not still seeking validation. We are not still wanting to be accepted and be liked. These two paradoxes coexist in almost all of us. And of course, when we are trying to be outstanding, when we are trying to be exceptional, when we are trying to stand out from the crowd, there is bound to be some resistance from the group. There is bound to also be some kind of a competition, which may also turn healthy or unhealthy. And this had been beautifully portrayed in the movie Heroine, wherein Kareena Kapoor Khan plays this main character, who's already kind of quite well known, but is wanting more fame, but is desiring more popularity, and is wanting to be the number one heroine in the country. And she does everything within her power that she possibly thinks can help her achieve that. She uses all kinds of strategies to be able to get there, to be able to get that for herself. But only without having any backlash, but only without being unpopular as well, but only in relatively good books of everyone else. She also realizes that in life, it just doesn't work that way. She also realizes that in order to seek validation from so many people, she had kind of lost herself. And she moves into a different place wherein nobody recognizes her. She even changes her name to conceal her prior identity, probably just to find herself all over again. This time probably through her own lens. And since this paradox exists in almost all of us, since we are constantly playing this cat and the mouse game throughout our lives, or at least most of our lives, the important thing is to question, is to understand, how do we see ourselves? Through which lens do we understand ourselves? Do we understand the difference between belonging and fitting in? What part of us actually wants to belong, but invariably ends up fitting in, squeezing ourselves into a certain mold? What part of us wants to be outstanding? What part of us wants to stand out from the crowd, and what is the cost we are willing to pay to do that? What part of us seeks recognition, probably only for validation, probably only for acceptance, and what part of us truly recognizes our own selves? What part of us wants to be outstanding, and what part of us feels scared to stand out from the crowd? Let's try and think more about all of those questions, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share, and subscribe.